page 5. Modern, I want to say one more thing about this, and that's that, this idea of creating new schemas was very much part of modernism, modern art. Modern art is inspired to creating new schemas. Literature, genre literatures look down on each word and create a new structure of its own. Painters invented cubism, style, isms. Some became idiosyncratic to particular painters. But that's the thing to do. Composers invented atonal music, serial music. They changed, they designed schemas. And postmodernism challenged this, and the design of creativity became very much more, not so much a matter of changing the design schemas, but of combining them in new ways, fusing. So genres became semiotic resources, as has been indicated by Chris also in his talk in a different context. Semiotic resources that can be combined in different ways. This has played a role in art, and it's played a role also, of course, in localizing global musics and other cultural themes that spread the world and that then are combined locally with more local kind of genres. I'll give you an example now of something which I used to write some pieces that were based on musical pieces that were based on partially on the church music that I grew up with, because I'm a church minister's son. And by the time I was 14 and I started to love jazz, there were two musics in my life that didn't fit so well. The one was sort of worldly, the other religious, the one slow and solemn, the other rhythmic, the one steeped in a particular Dutch religious tradition, and the other one coming over with incredible force from across the ocean. Now, here's an example of how this Dutch church music sounded when you played it in the church. I'll play this in order if you like. Yeah, that's right. I'm impatient. hardship, and so on. We also know where vocal tension comes from anything that makes us tense. And those things are usually not nice, things that make us tense. And then again, it can be a source of meaning. The ethnomusicologist Lomax, he wrote of tension in the preferred female voices in societies where there's very strong sexual repression. He said, it is as if one of the assignments of the favored singer is to act out the level of sexual tension which the customs of the society establish as normal. The content may be painful and anxiety-producing, that the effect on the culture may be stimulating, erotic and pleasurable, since the song reminds him of familiar sexual emotions and experiences. So such things are common experiences. And we can think of iconic voices, or indeed we could have also talked about iconic ways of playing the saxophone or guitar. Billie Holiday, we're here now in the background. A bit more. Yeah. Relatively high voice, which makes it sort of vulnerable. Because women tend to use lower registers when they want to assert themselves. Tense, definitely tense, suggesting a sense of anxiety. Small vibrato at the end of lines. Vibrato, of course, is where the voice wavers, where you betray emotion. It's there, but it's not multi-tone. It comes at the end. There it is. Relatively loud, but not now. And most of all, if you listen to it, always in between the beats. Always out of step with everything else. And listen to it as it puts its syllables. It's not precisely on my beats, is it? You can hear it. So such a voice, when you add these things up, creates an identity, communicates a message, which is different for all the people who have these different iconic voices. Thank you. Now one last thing I want to say. A digital piano like this cannot do what Billie Holiday did. I cannot make it sound rougher or tenser as I play. On acoustic piano I can, sorry. Instead, the designers of the instruments have provided me with a range of piano sounds. Some are tenser, some are mellower, some are rougher, some are less rough. They built them all in for me. There's hundreds of them. So there's hundreds of pianos to choose from. Now, an earlier instrument which did the same thing was, of course, a church organ, where all you could do was phrasing, and that was because it was the voice of God, or the angels, but not of the organist. It was Soli Deo Gloria, and it was a humble role in doing that, sitting there with all these big pipes. The voice qualities in this piano are designed by software designers. I can make new ones myself. It takes a lot of time, but I can. But then I'm not while I'm playing. Then I have to change, put another head on. I have to become sort of an engineer and make these voices. And that's why I think when we think about creativity today, we must also think of the way in which this happens, of the way in which technology is becoming part of the process, and in which the semiotic resources that I use are built in, and in my very instrument that I'm using. There's a gain. I have so many choices, but there's also a loss. I can't do these, create these voices as I play by bang, however much I bang or caress, it makes bloody little difference. Phrasing is the main thing that I've got, just like on church organ. And I leave it there.